A week ago, Paul Chrisman and Ray Scott were here in Minnesota watching the Rams play the Minnesota Vikings. The next day, Jack Buck and I were in Dallas, where Dallas was favored over the Cleveland Browns. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of that game. First time Cleveland had the ball, they were forced to punt. Don Cockcroft got out of a high short punt. Bob Hayes had signaled for a fair catch. The lineman down underneath never saw the ball. The ball bounced off Rayfield right. Cleveland recovered, and you could almost see Dallas wilt at that point. Bill Nelson went right to work. To Warfield, who had a great day. This in the early minutes of the first quarter. Nelson again, this time dumped right over the middle to Morin. And this sets up the first Cleveland touchdown. And here is the touchdown, the one that gave Cleveland a 7-0 lead, a block by Kelly in front, and Bo Scott gets in. He's their new fullback. He replaced Ron Johnson. Nelson again in action. He fakes the in sweep to Kelly, a maneuver that he used throughout the day. He finds Morin again. It seems that Morin always has big days against Dallas. Nelson, spectacular throughout the day. This time to Warfield at the 1. Cleveland was penalized 5 yards because of backfield in motion after this, so now they're back at the 6. They put this play in the day before the game. Nelson to his tight end Morin, 89. Cleveland got the ball in the closing seconds of the first half after Dallas had to give it up. Nelson fired strike again, this time to Warfield in the middle. Cleveland throws to a wide variety of receivers, as you'll see. Morin clears the area. Nelson throws down the middle to Bo Scott. Scott fumbles, and it's recovered by their offensive center, Fred Hoagland. They got a field goal just after that from Don Cockcroft, and at halftime it was 17-0. The Cleveland Browns over Dallas, and Dallas fans hoped that something could take place at halftime that might get their team back on the right track. Such was not to be the case. In the early moments of the third quarter, Craig Morton, who had a tough day for Dallas, back to pass. Must be excellent coverage. Fine rush by Cleveland, and Houston intercepts and rambles down the sideline some 33 yards before they can get him down. Nelson went right back to work. He lost none of his sharpness at halftime. Screen pass to Kelly. Behind excellent blocking down in front. Kelly almost got in. Now, from the end zone, the second touchdown of the day by Cleveland fullback Bo Scott. That's Bob Lilly coming across in front of him, and that should give you some indication of the strength that Scott possesses. Nelson on a draw to Leroy Kelly. A fine block in front by Gary Collins, number 86, as you can see on Cornell Green. That's just at the end of the third quarter. Beginning fourth quarter, Kelly gets his touchdown. That made it Cleveland 31, Dallas 7 at that point. This is the place we told you that they like to work on Cleveland. Walt Sumner intercepts. 88 yards later, Cleveland has its 37th and 38th point, as Don Cockcroft's extra point was good. And that's the way it was at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Pretty much a one-sided affair. 38-14, the final score.